In this section, we now have our a term, our a variable, and our ax squared is no longer 1 anymore. We have a number there. So now we have to identify a also, not just b and c. So a here is 3, b is 8, and c is 4. Now instead of just looking at c and factoring it out, I have to look at both a and c to factor them out. So I need to take them together. So this is going to be 3 times 4, which is giving me 12. And I have to factor that. I could do 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. These each multiply out to that 12. I need to figure out which of these adds up to the 8 there. So I see that c is positive, so same sign. I see that b is positive, so the larger number is positive. So since they're going to all be positive, 1 and 12 is 13, 2 and 6 is 8. I found my number there. I'm using 2 plus 6 to replace my 8. So now that I know my number, I'm going to make note of that. And I'm going to make some more room here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm keeping the a term the same, so I have the 3x squared. I'm replacing the 8 with the plus 2x and the plus 6x. And then I carry on with my plus 4. I split these two down the middle. Ignore that, factor this. So I see it has an x, has an x. I'm going to factor the x out. I'm left with 3x. So 3 divide 1 is 3, x squared divide x is x. Plus divide plus is plus. 2 divide 1 is 2. X divide x is 1. I've reached the end of that. Looking over here, I'm going to take my 6x and I'm going to divide it by the 3x here. The x's cancel out. 6 divide 3 is 2. It's a positive 2 because I have positive divide positive. So I have a plus sign here, 2. 6 divide 2 is 3, x, no x, carry the x down. Plus divide plus, plus, 4 divide 2, 2, reach the end. Do I have the same thing in both sets of parentheses? Yes. So I'm going to factor them out. 3x plus 2 times x plus 2. And then in order to check this, I would do my FOIL method of checking it. Take my first term to each of them, take my second term to each of them, and make sure that it adds back up to this up here. Looking at my other example here, 21x squared minus 31x plus 10. Is there anything that I can factor out of all three terms? 21, 31, 10? No. So now I need to take my 21 times 10, factor that, multiply them together. I have A is 21, B is negative 31, C is 10, and I'm taking my 21 times 10, gives me 210. I factor that out, I get 1 times 210, sorry, yep, 2 times 105, etc., going down the line, and eventually I find out that 10 times 21 might be the number that I'm looking for. C is positive, both signs are the same. B is negative, larger number is negative. So I know that the 21 is negative, they're both the same sign, so that's negative also. Add that together, I get negative 31. And that is the right number there. So now I know what numbers I'm using. Using negative 10 and negative 21. I'm going to make some room. I have my 21x squared minus 10x minus 21 x, and then plus 10. I split these in the middle. I ignore that, and I work only with this. What can I factor out? Looking at my 21 and my 10, nothing I can factor out of that. That's 2 times 5. I can't divide this by either 2 or 5. So I get my x out of there. So this is 21. X squared divide x is x. Minus divide plus is minus. 10 divide 1 is 10. X divide x is gone. It equals 1. Going over here, using my shortcut, I take the first term here, divided by the first term inside the parentheses. So I have negative 21x divided by 21x, and I get negative 1. So I'm putting down negative 1, minus 1. Now I'm ignoring everything over here, and I'm working only with that and this negative 1. Negative divide negative is positive. 21 divide 1 is 21. X, no x, carry the x forward. Plus divide minus is minus. 10 divide 1 is 10. Reach the end, close the parentheses. I have the same thing inside each set of parentheses. 21x minus 10. So I factor that out. I am left with x minus 1. And I have my factored form. That one is done. Okay, the next one we're doing is a little longer and harder. We have this 36r squared minus 5r minus 24. Can I factor any number or any letter out of all three terms? No. So I'm going to identify my A, B, and C. I'm going to take my A times C, which is giving me 36 times negative 24. It's going to be a big number. And I try to get a calculator that works. Okay, there it's coming in now. 36 times 24 is 864. Now I want to try different numbers that multiply to 864 and add to negative 5. Because this is a negative 5, we know that the numbers are going to be really close to each other. 36 and 24 don't quite work. Let me see if I have a better calculator here. So 36 minus 24, that gives me 12. That's not quite there. I need two numbers that are closer together. So the only thing I can think of to do is start factoring it. I'll be back when I get it factored. So I did a little factoring. I said 36 is 6 times 6, which gives me 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. 24 is 6 times 4, which gives me 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. I wrote my prime factors in order, and then I took a guess that if I took all of my 3's together, it would give me something close to if I put all of my 2's together. I came up with 27 and 32, and this was just a guess. I try my 27 and 32. The larger number is negative. The signs are different. So this is 27 minus 32. And it gives me negative 5. So now I know what numbers I want to use. So now I can erase all of this guesswork here. Erase that stuff, because I now know which two numbers I want to use. So we have 36r squared plus 27r minus 32r minus 24. I split these down the middle. Ignore the second half. What can I factor out of these? They can both be divided by 3. What am I left with? This one gives me a 9. 36 divided 3 is 12. Both can be divided by 3 again. That gives me 4, and that gives me 3. So I can divide by 9. That's how you figure it out if you don't have a calculator and you don't know your times tables that well. So I am factoring out a 9 here. one more thing I need to factor out before I continue. That has an r squared, that has an r. I can also factor out r. Now, 36 divided by 9 is 4. R squared divide r is r. Plus divide plus is plus. 27 divide 9 is 3. R divide r is understood 1. Don't need to write it because it's multiplied into the 3. Going to the next part, I have negative 32r. Using my shortcut, I divide that by 4r. The r's cancel out. I have a negative number. 32 divided by 4 is what? I don't know. Calculator time. That or else a lot of long division. 32 divide 4 is 8. So, negative divide negative is positive. 32 divide 8 is 4. R, no r, carry the r forward. Negative, negative, positive. 24 divide 8 is 3. I've reached the end. I have the same thing inside each set of parentheses, so I am factoring that out. What I'm left with outside is this 9r here, minus 8. I now have my answer. Next problem, 12x squared plus 17x plus 5. 12, 17, 5, nothing I can divide out of all three terms. X squared, x, no x, I can't even factor into x out yet. So I identify my A, B, and C. A is 12. B is 17, C is 5. I take my A times my C, so that's 12 times 5, and that gives me 60. I want to factor the 60 to find out what two numbers multiply to 60 and add to 17. So this could be 1 and 60, 2 and 30, nope, 3 and 20, that might work. Same sign, sign is positive, add these two numbers together, that gives me 23. Not the right number. So I continue on. 4 and 15. Let's try that one. They're both the same sign. They're positive. 4 and 15. That gives me 19. Not the same number. Let's go for one more try. Okay, 4. I can get a 6 out of there. I can get a 5 out of there. So 5 something and 6 something. 6 and 10. Or 5 and what? 5 and 12. Obviously. Same sign, larger number positive. I now found the numbers I want to use. Very often with math classes, they will use the two terms A and C to use to separate that out. But it's not always going to be the case. So because of that, you actually do have to go through this process here. If you want to, and it's completely okay, you can try these two numbers first. If that works, great. Go with it. If it doesn't, then you have to go through that process. So now I know my numbers to replace. I have 12x squared plus 5x plus 12x plus 5. Split them down the middle. Ignore that. What can I factor out here? Just an x. I can't factor a 5 out of this, so it's just an x. Divide 12x plus 5. Done. Go over there. 12x, divide 12x. Positive divide positive, okay? So that's a positive 1 there. Dividing this whole thing by 1, that's an easy one to do. It doesn't change anything. Now I take these, check to see that the stuff in the center and the parentheses is the same. I factor that out. What am I left over? X plus 1. Did I make any substitutions? Nope, that was my original question, my original problem to be worked out. So now I'm done.